and if you double click on that file, it'll open up your eDrawings part. So this is just an example part. Your part will be similar. It would just be a 3D file that you can view in any direction. And in order to do this, so some basic viewing functions is if you want to zoom in and out, it's just the wheel on your mouse. If you want to pan it around, you click and hold the wheel on your mouse, and you can spin it around and look at it in whatever direction you want. There's also these functions up here, move. You can move it anywhere. There's this, which is the same thing as clicking your wheel on your mouse and spinning it around. So I guess if you don't have a wheel, then you would use this. You can zoom in and out with this one. This zooms into a certain area. This fits it back on the screen. This looks at it head on in different directions. And this shows it in wireframe. This one shows it shaded with wire, and this one shows it just shaded. But I find this one, it's hard to see edges, especially on more complex parts. So I always like to turn on the wire, then you can see it a lot better. So for your project, what we're mainly going to be doing and focusing on is measuring. So click on Measure tool, and here you can measure in different units, whatever you prefer. Millimeters, centimeters is everything in here. So we'll just say inches for this case, and then you can just start clicking on whatever you want. So if you click on this surface, from that surface to this surface, it tells you that it's 2 inches apart. And then to reset the measure tool, you just click off. Click off anywhere. So like if I have that surface clicked and I didn't want to click that, I just click off and it resets. If you want to see holes from there to there, it's 2.75 in that direction, 0.75 inches in that direction, 2.85 from center to center. So you can see if the hole positioning is correct. You could say from this face to this hole, from this face to this hole is, it says down here, it's 1/2 inch from there to the center of that hole. You could do the same thing over here. It's important so when you want to find out where the position of the hole is, you have to click on the when it just highlights the top of the hole, not the actual hole. So from there to there, it's 3/4 of an inch from there to the center of the hole. You can see the hole size diameter is 1 inch. If you get this, it says it's 1 inch diameter by 2 inches deep. You can click on this surface, and this surface, it tells you it's 45 degrees. You can click on that edge, and it tells you that radius or diameter is 1/2 inch. You can click on points. From that point to this point is 3 inches in that direction, 2 inches in that direction, or from point to point is 3.606 inches apart. So yeah, so just go through your part, click on different surfaces, you can click on edges, that's 4 inches long, this is 1.414 long, from this edge to this edge, 3 by 1 inch, 3.162 apart. So you can measure pretty much anything you want. Surface areas, or from surface to surface, point to point, edge to edge, hole to hole, surface to hole, whatever you want to measure, and just verify that your part is correct, because that's very important before we physically make the part. We want to make sure it's correct, and that's what eDrawings is great to help solve that problem. And then the other thing here is a section tool. So sometimes parts have internal features that you can't see very well outside. So if you use the section tool, you can see. So say if there was some kind of cavity inside here that you couldn't see from the outside, you'd be able to see it by sectioning the tool, and you can measure everything in the section. So you could click on measure and then measure while you're in section and see if the cavity was correct size or whatever you need to see. There's also different directions of section. You can change the direction over here with these buttons. So that's pretty much it. eDrawings is pretty simple and straightforward. But again, I'd like to stress that it's important that you check and measure your part before we mass produce it. So just go through your part, take your time, and if you have any questions, you can reply back anytime you want.